All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Lagos government denies viral claims of rising kidnapping along Bagada Expressway. Labels alert, fake. Now, this is how they start. Nigerians came out to talk about attacks on the Bagada Expressway, and the Lagos state government has come out to dismiss the attack. Now, the people dismissing this attack, they move around with security. They fly around all over the country. But the people who use the expressway, commuters, normal Nigerians, are crying out, saying that attacks, kidnappings have started happening on that expressway. And the Lagos state government, that does not have any idea on what the average Nigerian goes through on that expressway, is coming out to debunk it. Don't worry, continue debunking it. The Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land has come out to say that these terrorists are planning to attack Lagos, Oyo, Ekiti and Ondo states any moment from now. Let us continue playing politics with issues of security. Where it will lead us to, even the high and mighty will be affected. Now, let us look at the top stories. Two stories that completely rubbish the Tinubu administration. Hours ago, the Ministry of Education moved to say that schools will not be closing down in Nigeria, that the government will not yield to Boko Haram's desires. But as we speak, schools have started shutting down nationwide from one state to another. What a disgrace. And next is another disgraceful update. The Tinubu administration completely exposed and humiliated, and it is all about the victims of kidnap in Eruku, Ekiti, Kwara State. 38 of them have been reportedly released, and Tinubu came out and quickly put out a tweet to the nation saying that it was as a result of his heroics that they have been released. But Nigerians quickly lashed back at him, exposing how the administration surrendered to terrorists in form of negotiation and payment of heavy ransoms before they could get the victims out. And they also exposed the Tinubu administration's attempts to claim that they were the ones that rescued 51 students out of the 215 that was kidnapped in Niger State. Meanwhile, it was the students that escaped on their own. All this came together to further show that this administration is just one big scam. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. In this video, Tinubu spokesman Daniel Buala was fighting for his life on Arise TV, defending the fact that it is not necessary for Tinubu to address Nigerians facing the press. What a joke. Watch this video.
No, he needs to address the Nigerian people.
Where?
Let me on television, on radio, now, where they can watch him and hear him and look at him and hear what he has to say.
When the president received envoy and was speaking about what Nigeria is doing and the commitment of Nigeria, which is covered by TV and reported by radio, is that not a means of communication?
Let me borrow the words of the former special advisor to the Tinubu presidency on political matters, Hakim Baba Ahmed, a member of your government, who resigned in frustration. His question was, what does it take to get President Tinubu to address the country? Is he not a leader that's elected by the people? Isn't that what leaders do? If not now, when? That's a straightforward question.
Okay. You say you want him to address Nigeria through TV.
No, I'm simply asking you a straightforward
The president is communicating every day. So this is what I'm taught about communication. You issue a tweet is communication. You speak through TV is a communication. Through radio is a communication. And I tell you the official act of the president is covered by TV. You have State House press call that report to you about the daily activities of the president, including the visual coverage of the president's engagement with people. Is that not a communication?
You saw that. I wish I could lay my hands on like 2 to 3 minutes of that video, but that was all I could find because I really wanted to see how Daniel Buala carried on with his frustration in that interview. And if you looked at Charles, for the very first time, Charles was worked up. This is somebody who is usually very calm all through his interviews, but he couldn't believe the things he was hearing, that somebody would sit there to say that it is not necessary for somebody who is called the president at this point to stand in front of the press, take questions and answer on the spot. And Charles said, if not now, then when? If you cannot do that now as a leader, then when are you going to do it? And this is something that is done all over the world. This is the international, this is the global best practice of presidents of leadership. You have to stand there. You can stand there for like an hour or two, responding to questions, on the ground questions, live questions. People will even be allowed into the place, ordinary Nigerians, so that they will tell you their fears. And then you reassure them. But you know why it cannot happen in this case? Because these men are not grounded on these issues. They don't even care about these issues. There are basic questions that they will be asked if they are to do a one-on-one, press meeting with the press and with Nigerians. There are basic questions that they will be asked and they will not even know. And this guy, Daniel Bwala, was saying that if he puts out a tweet, it is a form of communication. If the president puts out a tweet, at this time, you are saying that a tweet is sufficient means of communication. Wow, this is a shame. This is disgraceful. Now, one of the things that this administration has done well is to keep the promise of continuing from where Buhari stopped, because this was what we're saying under Buhari too. Won't he come out and address Nigerians? Won't he come out and address the press? Won't he come out and take questions? We are back in that same boat, and it can only get worse under the APC. This is what I keep saying. I remember the days of Goodluck Jonathan, where he would stand there and talk. How about the days of Obasanjo, where we had the presidential media chat? He would even take phone calls from Nigerians. But now, under the APC, it has become a taboo for the occupant of Aso Rock to stand in front of the press and speak to Nigerians. This is despicable. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming from different states in Nigeria that has now completely shamed the Ministry of Education. And next is that big one. The Tinubu administration humiliated globally after Nigerians exposed their lies. They wanted to claim that they used security heroics to get the 38 victims of kidnap in Eruku Ekiti, Kwara State out. But Nigerians exposed it, saying, no, you actually negotiated. You actually surrendered to the bandits in negotiation and payment of heavy ransoms to get the victims out. Plus, you were not the one that secured the release of 51 out of the 215 students that were kidnapped in Niger State. The students actually escaped themselves. Let's start by taking that update that rubbished the claims of the Ministry of Education. Look at how the papers reported it. Now, when the report of 47 unity schools shutting down in Nigeria and other schools shutting down nationwide began circulating, the Ministry of Education quickly came out and put out this update. Look at it. Nigerian Education Ministry denies shutting down schools nationwide over terror attacks, and they went ahead to say no, they cannot do that because it will mean they are giving the terrorists more power, so they cannot be shutting down schools. They are in control of the situation. And hours after they put out this report, we began to see this. Yobe government shuts down all boarding schools over rising terrorist abductions. Adamawa government shut all boarding schools amid fresh wave of mass abduction in Kebbi and Niger State. Taraba government shut down boarding schools over rising national insecurity. Plateau government orders immediate closure of secondary schools over suspected terror attacks. And that report from Plateau says the Plateau State government on Friday ordered the immediate closure of all basic schools across the state as part of precautionary measures to protect pupils amid emerging security concerns. So, Minister of Education, it is time to hide your head in shame. you had put out a statement saying that they won't be shutting down schools. If they do that, it means they are yielding to the terrorists. And I am not against shutting down schools at all. I actually believe that that is the right thing to do, especially in all those places that we know clearly that these students are not safe. It is best we shut the schools down. But they like to be political with everything, trying to show that they are in charge when we know they are clearly not. And these schools have come out to say, listen, we have to shut these schools down. These people are not in charge at all. What a shame. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update on the rescue of the 38 kidnapped victims from Eruku Ekiti, Kwara State, began making the rounds. Look at how the papers reported it. Now, the administration shot themselves in the leg by the manner in which they broke the news to Nigerians. Instead of the Nigerian police or the Nigerian army breaking the news, it was Tinubu and the Kwara State governor that broke the news to Nigerians. Let's take the first one. Breaking news: 38 kidnapped Kwara church worshippers regain freedom. The Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak has announced the release of 38 persons who were recently abducted during an attack on Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku. Before then, Tinubu had tweeted this: "My fellow Nigerians, you will recall that I cancelled my trip to the G20 summit in South Africa to enable me coordinate the security efforts at home. Thanks to the efforts of our security forces over the last few days, all the 38 worshippers abducted in Eruku, Kwara State have been rescued. I am equally happy that 51 out of the missing students of the Catholic school in Niger State have been recovered. I am closely monitoring the security situation nationwide and receiving continuous updates from the front line. Let me be clear, I will not relent. Every Nigerian in every state has the right to safety, and under my watch, we will secure this nation and protect our people." Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. But Nigerians quickly gave it back to them hot. They said, we cannot be deceived. Yes, we know what we are doing. The last figure that was quoted by these terrorists, the ransom they wanted for each person, was 50 million naira. And now you are saying they have been rescued. You cannot show us the bodies of the terrorists that you took out before you rescued them. You have not even shown us the video of the rescued people from the church. You have not shown us any evidence. You just came out and put out a statement that they were rescued. Was there a gunfire? Were the perpetrators killed or arrested themselves? How did it take place? It has become mystery. Jati here says, so 50 million naira was paid for 38 heads, and you people agreed to that? No bullets for bullets, no guns for guns. Money will finish, there will come for more heads. This is the issue. You are exposing more people to harm with this move that you just made because you want to look good. If it is true that they have been recovered because you want to look good, you want to come and put out this statement that you are ensuring the safety of Nigerians. You people went and paid 50 million naira per head. 38 people. As soon as they pocket this money, they will say, wow, so this is how easy it is to make 50 million in Nigeria. How many Nigerians have made 50 million once all their lives? Less than 0.0001% of Nigerians. And then we can just make it by entering a church in Eruku Ekiti, CAC. Why not enter another church next? And this tweet here says, they secured the freedom of the kidnapped victims and not even one person was arrested. No one will be prosecuted, and the circle goes on. That is it. And Atoba Jaye says, great job. We are truly glad the victims have regained their freedom. But where are the kidnappers? 38 people can't just be released without a single arrest or even an exchange of gunfire. That is the truth. And David here says, always negotiating with bandits really shows that Nigerian government has been the one sponsoring them. Because the fuck will you negotiate with terrorists? People that should be gunned down to put an end to insecurity. Now, don't get me wrong. We are not saying that we are not happy that the people have been rescued. But we are just opening doors to more attacks. when we make it clear to these terrorists that they can always get money when they demand, especially from the government. On some occasions, Nigerians have had to rally around to raise ransom. But when the government goes directly to do it in order to score cheap political points, it is really bad. And Ayo here says, this is a good one. However, the releases are in quick succession. I think Nigerians deserve to know how this came about. Where were the bandits paid, or is it owned to the bravery of Nigerian army? Please, we need answers. They will never give you those answers. And Tolulokpe Olakunle here says, who and who were arrested? Did your security forces kill or arrest anyone? What was the ransom paid? Nobody is a fool. Make una stop to dey play politics with people's lives. That is it. You are joking with people's lives. And this tweet here by Dami of Ibadan says, perpetrators unko, una like mumu for this country. If una like, make una open una eyes down. They are coming soon to the southwest. Dami is saying, continue playing politics. Continue trying to look good on paper. They are heading for the southwest. They are heading for the home. They are heading for the likes of Lagos and Oyo. And this tweet here says, no news on the abductors. Were they killed? Did they escape? Or you guys negotiated and paid as usual for the release of the captives? Make them use mouth talk. Finish. That is it. Now mouth una go use talk finish. And then on the 51 students that they were trying to take credit for, the Christian Association of Nigeria quickly came out to explain that the children actually escaped on their own. It was not anybody that helped them. Look at it. 50 abducted pupils from St. Mary's School in Niger have escaped captivity and reunited with their families, according to CAN. The Christian Association of Nigeria in Niger State has confirmed that 50 pupils abducted from St. Mary's private Catholic primary and secondary schools in Papri Agwara local government area, Niger, have escaped from captivity. In a statement on Sunday, Bulus Dawa Yohana, chairman of the Niger State chapter of CAN and Catholic Bishop of Kontagora Diocese, said the pupils regained their freedom between Friday and Saturday and returned home quietly to their families. According to Yohana, the pupils were initially unaccounted for because they did not return to the school after fleeing. School officials later contacted parents and visited homes, which helped trace the escaped children. So the children actually escaped themselves. It had no government intervention in it. So let us be clear. This is not time to be looking for how to score cheap political points. Nigeria is on a brink. This is the time for us to do the right thing to put an end to this calamity that we are as a nation. But then again, this is the APC. They are never going to do anything that will benefit Nigerians. And I keep saying it, if we don't get them out of power, we will not even be able to ameliorate this situation, let alone put an end to it. Are we ever going to be able to come together as a people and put an end to this occult group? It is left to be seen. Anyway, make I leave am here, make I still enter town, make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because now because of una, I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.